Hello, my Chunsters. My name is Glen Chun, and it's time to have some fun with Wrestlecast episode 4 with my very, very special guest, the LEP champion, Jason King.
Hello, and can I just say, that's one of the best introductions I've ever had.
I'm trying to increase the liveliness of it now. I want everybody to know, yes.
I'm going to start demanding that all the announcers do that and the MCs when I come out.
Yeah, and particularly they need to do the hand gesture. Like that.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. It could stick.
Yeah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some housekeeping to do. Let's do a brief rundown of the show. First of all, we have a Q&A with Jason King. We have questions that have been submitted through Facebook and Twitter, which I've linked, which is cool. We've got some of those to do. And on that front, if you are watching this live, and you want to ask a question, and you suddenly think, oh yeah, I can ask that. You can do that. If you go to the actual Hangouts page, if you're watching on YouTube, there should be an annotation on the video that says be part of the conversation. If you click on that, it will take you to a screen where you can actually interact with me and Jason live, and that would be awesome. And I'll drop some reminders throughout the show as we go so that people remember where to find us. We also have other questions because there'll be a bit of deja vu going on here because I'm not going to lie, Jason has been on before. But that podcast was doomed to technical issues because parts of it would just go completely silent. So, unfortunately, we had to take that down. So we're going to do some questions which have been answered before, but we're going to do them again so that everybody knows what the King has to say to those questions. And we're also going to be going to Plug City. We've also got...
We go there a lot, don't we?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I am the... uncrowned king of plugs. I am the mayor of Plug City, and that's going to be happening. Exit is whenever the show ends, basically. And then we have some WWE and TNA news to mention because there's some pretty sad news actually this week, rather than yay news. It's not good news coming out of the companies this week. But that is for later on. That is all good. That's everything we're going to be doing. So. Here we go. First question. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go for the fan-submitted questions first.
Cool. Let's do it.
That's fan service for you. And George Bennett asks, and this is a good question. This is a lovely one. Is it true, Jason, that you are going to be the centerfold for the March edition of Playgirl magazine and that sales are up 200% in advance as a result of that?
Great question. The fact of the matter is this. I've been offered, to be in Playgirl, GQ magazine. I'm a timeless classic, So if I was offered the opportunity to be in Playgirl, I'm sure sales would go up 250%. But I've got to be completely honest with my fans. No, I should not be posing in Playgirl. But there is a reason. They asked me, don't get me wrong. They did ask, but unfortunately the money wasn't right. £10,000 to do a shoot. I was like, nah, it needs to be more than that. Jason King's worth more than 10 grand, so.
I'll tell you what, we need to get your lawyer, the litigator, Dr. Robert Case, on that.
Absolutely. And my agent as well. In fact, come to think of it, in all seriousness, I'm going to fire my goddamn agent because why wasn't I offered a place in Playgirl magazine?
That's very true. You know what you should do as well? You should also just send the King's Royal Guard over to Hugh Hefner's, whoever actually owns Playgirl magazine, and they should be over there bullying him into offering you a place at the very least.
At the very least.
Yeah, it is a bit. It is a scandal that you haven't been offered. Let's be honest.
It's a wonder how his business ever thrive without me. To be honest.
I know. It's like, what's going on? Anyway. That's a shame. I think a lot of women have now probably just their excitement levels have dropped.
Well, but I'm pretty sure I can get that back up. I am going to do a Jason King calendar for 2016. or for maybe 2017. So it'll be in the summertime. So there will be a Jason King calendar coming this year. So that's something for the ladies and some of the men to look forward to.
And I'll tell you what, and if you doubt Jason King as model, you can just take a look at the picture we have live on this podcast right now. Take a look at that face.
I tell you what, a face someone else's mother would love.
Yes. The face that every mother could love, yeah.
Yeah. Like it?
Like it, son. So referee John Aubrey. Now, this is from a man from in the industry. Referee John Aubrey is asked, why are you such a Rudy Poo, candy-assed pansy?
Wow.
Thanks, John Aubrey.
Right, first things first, John Aubrey, right? There's a bit of history here that a lot of people don't know, okay? So I'm gonna spill the beans publicly now about the problem I got with John Aubrey, right? My name is Jason King. I'm unbeaten in 8 months in professional wrestling. I head down to Cornwall, a place I really didn't want to go, but I headed down to Cornwall anyway. I performed for the CPW Heavyweight Trophy against Dancing Dally Bainsley. Nobody has ever pinned me in 8 months. I travelled down to Cornwall. John Aubrey, a referee, decides to intervene in my match, okay, and cost me the heavyweight trophy. Not only does he push me over, which allows Big Daddy Bainsley to roll me up, he then counts to 3, and do you know what? Looking back at the replay footage, I reckon he counted fast too. I think John Aubrey's got it in for me. My question, I think it's jealousy, you know? That's what I think it is.
It could be. It could be.
I'm disgusted. Don't you worry, my lawyer will be all over that as well. I did what last time I came on this, I told you, and I'll tell you again, publicly, from my mouth, I want my rematch for the CPW Heavyweight Trophy.
Well, that's the thing, actually. Last time we were on the show, which you cannot see anymore, but for posterity's sake, for a reminder for everybody, Jason asked me to deliver that message to Terry Speller. Next time I saw him, I went to CPW boot camp on January the 23rd, and I delivered that message. So Terry Speller knows that you want your rematch.
You tell Terry Speller to fax over a contract to me. I'm waiting.
No,
I want my rematch. And I want a different referee. Because if I don't get a different referee, I'm going to whoop Bainsley's ass. Then I'm going to whoop Terry Speller's ass. Then I'm going to whoop John Aubrey's ass.
I'll tell you what, though.
Then I'm going to go around to John Aubrey's house and spank his wife's ass.
Okay. I think we should probably stop there before you go any further with that. I think we've got the vengeance. I think, though, you're probably not going to like this next question, though. Because JP, that is the ultimate Jamie Piern, asked, when did you realise that the referee was more popular than you?
Here's another one that's out here. Look, I'll tell you what. People will attach themselves to my name, won't they, for anything for a little bit of fame. JP has been clamouring for a title match for me. I can't even remember how long. You know, the only reason JP is trying to get a title match is because he knows it'll be the biggest payday of his life. Let's look at the facts here, okay? I don't think I've ever seen JP win a match. Ever. I'm pretty sure he couldn't wrestle himself out of a cardboard box. Okay? My message to JP is this. The only way he'll ever get close to me is if he shines my shoes. And that's a privilege he's still got to pay for. Let's make it very clear, JP. You clearly got some affiliation with John Aubrey, which is fine. You two can hold hands and skip through the park together. But leave the wrestling to me. I meet JP, Jamie Piern, in a tag team match next Saturday at CPW in Cornwall. It's good that JP wants to run his mouth, but unfortunately, when he's in a 16-foot ring, stood opposing me, there's nowhere he can go. He can't go anywhere. And that referee too. If he's in that damn ring, I'm going to whoop JP's ass, and I'm going to whoop his ass. Let's make that very, very clear, very publicly, to all the people listening. First, I'm going to whoop JP's ass, then I'm going to whoop John Aubrey's ass. These guys, they've got it in for me ever since I became champion. 175 days today. 175 days. I'm a week away from being champion for 6 months. Glen, can you imagine being champion or something for 6 months? The answer is no, you can't.
No, I haven't. I've never been a champion.
No. Surprise, surprise, Glen. Just like JP and just like John Aubrey. There's only one Jason King, Glen Chun. Okay? Nobody cheers for John Aubrey. Nobody cheers for JP. They cheer for the King. And this is the mistake a lot of these guys make. Running their mouth. Eventually, running their mouth will catch up with them. It's a mistake, Glen Chun.
Well, whilst we're talking about kicking ass and running mouths, taking a break from fan questions for a little second here. Whilst we're talking about this kicking ass, calling people out, running mouths, earlier this week, you went and called out and ran down Pirate FM radio DJ Johnny Cowling. My question for you is, what the heck is going on there? What's the beef with Johnny Cowling, Jason?
Glad you asked, Glenn. I'm glad you brought this up. Let's look at the facts. Johnny Cowling tells lame jokes. Johnny Cowling is a radio presenter, and Johnny Cowling is Cornish. Those are three things I don't like. I warned him that I'm in Cornwall next Saturday. I told him he better not show up to CPW. I better not see him walking around Cornwall. I'll slap the taste out of his mouth. I don't like his accent. I don't like his jokes. I'm not finished with Johnny Cowling. Not by a long shot. If I have to travel to Cornwall, I like to do a bit of ass whooping. That's what I like to do. That's why they call me the King. That's why I've been champion 175 days. It doesn't stop with other wrestlers. I don't just whoop other wrestlers' ass. I'll also whoop radio DJ's ass. Absolutely fine. He's supposed to be a local celebrity in those parts. And Glenn, how do you get recognition? You go after the big dog. And he's apparently a big deal in Cornwall. So I told myself, Self, do what you do best. Go and claim the recognition you deserve, starting with the so-called popular radio DJ.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to lie, that is a way to make a name for yourself. The question is, does it really prove anything, though, kicking a radio DJ's ass? I mean, I'm not going to lie. I live in Cornwall and I haven't heard of his name before you called him out. So if anything, you're kind of doing him a favour here, Jason.
Glenn, do you live under a rock?
Live under a roof.
Under a roof, Is it a rock? In the middle of nowhere?
Let me just check. No, it's plasterboard.
Everybody knows Johnny. He's extremely popular in Cornwall. He's a famous radio DJ in that area, and he walks around with a chip on his shoulder. And I don't like people that walk around with a chip on their shoulder, Glen Chun. Jason King does not have a chip on his shoulder. Jason King does not have an ego. These are just rumours, Glen Chun.
This is slander, right, that I've been hearing.
Absolutely, that's what it is. But I got Mr. Cat on the case, don't worry.
I've heard he likes to be called Robert Case.
I'm not interested in what he likes to be called. I'm the one that pays him. I call him what I want.
Well, that's fair enough, I guess. I mean, if you are paying somebody, then you do have that right. You do. Now, there seems to be a bit of conspiracy here between Johnny Cowling, JP, and John Aubrey. I'm starting to wonder if this is a conspiracy. I'm wondering. I think you should be careful in Cornwall, mate, because I'm not going to lie. I have a feeling these three are conspiring against you. But somebody who isn't conspiring against you is Paige Watley, who has asked you, and this is a nice question, what is happening for Jason King this year, and have you got anything exciting going on right now?
Nice question. Fan friendly. That's nice. You know what? For me, so one big thing, piece of news that I did announce exclusively on my Jason King page. You know, it's where I announce all my wrestling related things is on my page, my Jason King page. You know, give the page a like, and that's where you go to get all my wrestling related news. People are always asking for merchandise. They're always asking when I'll be performing next. Click onto the page, have a look, get all my updates. The one thing I've been offered is an opportunity in March to attend, to go to Stoke-on-Trent, which is quite some way for me, to the Kendall Nagasaki's Best Newcomer. It's a tournament that's going to be held up in Stoke in March. I've been offered a spot there to earn a money prize for the winner, and obviously some good recognition around the country. it's best newcomer of British wrestling. I mean, that's a real big honour for me to get a spot in that. To get that recognition was real nice. So I mean, if it fits into my timescale and and I've got the chance to do it, I absolutely will. So that's something really cool. 2016 for me, people keep asking me if I'm ready to move on from being the LEP champion. The answer is no. I intend to be champion till I retire. I want to be Bruno Sammartino was champion for 7.5 years. Why can't I be champion for 7.5 years? I have no interest in giving up my LEP championship for anything or anybody. I intend to defend that title more and more and more against as many people as I can, because that's what will bring recognition for that gold. I think that the person makes the title, not the other way around. So it's my job to make that title mean something. I wear it with pride every day. 2016, I want to be heavyweight champion somewhere. That's my other goal. I want to be the heavyweight champion. I would have been CPW heavyweight champion November 28th in Cornwall had it not been for John O'Brien. The aforementioned John O'Brien, a referee. What world do we live in where a referee can cost you a heavyweight title? It's madness. Utter madness. Yeah, for me this year is going to be focusing on more opportunity, getting my name and face out there more and more and more if I can. Good question. Thank you for asking.
Well, so you just asked, what kind of world do we live in where the referee can cost the wrestler a championship? I'll tell you what, if a referee ever cost me a championship match, I'll be straight on the phone to my good friend of the KGB, Dmitry Ivanov, and I would have him down there kicking that ref's butt.
There we go, see?
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy, but I guess maybe one day we should invite John O'Brien onto this show so he can explain himself. Maybe.
Yeah, that ain't a bad idea. Don't expect to get any listeners when he turns, mind you.
No, I guess you know what, that might be a sacrifice worth making, so we can get you an answer for what actually happened there.
That would be good. That would be good to know.
We would like to, and I'll tell you what, that is the they were my top. Hang on, my head's sticking up because there you go, that's better. My headphones are pushed my hair up there. Not even I can tolerate that. That was all the fan submitted questions I had from Facebook, the ones that I really liked. There are some scandalous questions, which I cannot answer, like questions, where did you get your shorts? But considering the nature of your shorts, we best not really. Considering the slightly see-through nature of them.
Yeah, man, I got a lot of feedback on my wrestling trunks, put it that way.
Yeah, I must admit, I had to spend that entire. It was a bit off-putting to have that whilst you're trying to watch a wrestling match, but there you go. That's the truth. But by the way,
here's the thing. We're all come in different shapes and sizes, don't we? We
do indeed. Yeah, we do.
But all men have got the same thing. Okay, I can't help it if mine just happens to be on show a little bit more than anybody else's. This is just one of those things. It's the way God made me.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it wasn't really that put me off. It was more like I was more like, oh dear God, does he know? I was like, there you go. I was more like. It was the unorthodox nature of it, I think, is what really got my attention.
As long as it got everybody's attention.
That is true. I guess that's true. But by the way, just because you didn't actually ask a question on Twitter or Facebook, it's not over yet. You still do have your chance to ask Jason King a question. If you are watching this on YouTube and there should be an annotation on the screen that says, be a part of the conversation. If you turn the annotations off, what are you doing? Turn them back on again. Click on that annotation, and it should take you to a page where you can ask Jason King a question live on air. And if you do ask a question live on air, we will get it answered for you.
I don't even mind if it's not wrestling related,
Well, there you go. I mean, sometimes it's fun to just talk about things that aren't wrestling. I've seen interviews of AJ Styles where they started talking about Xbox. So
Xbox.
Yeah, it's basically they're talking about their favorite type of Xboxes, and AJ said that he has a fondness for the half a dozen. That's I must admit, that is the vintage. That is vintage, isn't it? That's tradition. You do not go wrong with a box of 6.
No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. So if you do want to ask a Jason Kane question, that's how you do it. You go to the Q&A app on Google Hangouts, and I've got the page open here. If anything pings up, it's right there. It's like literally my eyes there. That's all I have to do, and I can read your questions. I think I can even highlight them.
Do you think we should plug Pancake Day on Tuesday?
You know, why not? Let's do it. Pancake. I always love Pancake Day, but cardio, man. I don't know.
Tuesday's a cheat day.
Yeah, okay, we can cheat. I like to be that bad guy. Hey yo, eat your pancakes. Tuesday the 9th. That was the world's worst Razor Ramon impression ever, wasn't it?
You know what? I would say just stick to being Glen Chun for now, and let Razor Ramon stick to being Razor Ramon. But again, that's just one guy's opinion. You know, for what it's worth.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't. It was a bit short notice to actually hire Razor Ramon to come on here and actually plug Pancake Day.
God's sake, Chun.
Yeah, I mean, I literally didn't know we were plugging Pancake Day until a minute ago. I mean, I think Razor Ramon is currently up in Norwich or someplace. About an 8-hour drive away.
Louis was up that way. I wonder if he's having pancakes Tuesday.
Oh, I bet you he does. I bet you he does.
These people that don't eat pancakes. When I get being committed to your training, I understand that wholeheartedly. But good God Almighty, if you can't have a pancake, then what? I don't want to live in a world where you can't eat pancakes, Glenn.
You know what? Neither do I, because pancakes are the bomb. They really are.
I really thought you were going to say something else then.
I'm just going to say they're the bomb. Thank God they're not literally bombs, but they are the bomb. It's a good bomb.
Can't argue with that. Get no mitigation from me.
We're getting off topic here. So we are going to redo a few questions right now until the Q&A question does pop up. Which, by the way, you know how to do it now. I've talked about it. We've got some questions here. We have some good questions that I like to ask everybody because they're good questions. They give you an insight into who Jason King is or who PG Jones, Grayson Reeves, and TNT are. And
why you got to mention those guys on my show?
Because they were on the show before.
It's
kind of the history of Wrestlecast.
Right.
Because these questions have been asked before. But because it's always a good question, it's like, when did you first fall in love with pro wrestling?
As a kid, I was always really active. And I was an okay athlete. I'm not a gifted athlete. I'm not one of these guys that just looks at a dumbbell and I grow. And I'm not one of these guys that's got a sick vertical leap. But I'm a reasonably good athlete. I've always worked hard to do the best that I could with my body. And the first wrestling match I remember watching start to finish was, it's just by pure chance. My dad comes home from my nan's when we were real young and says, "Oh, your auntie's taped some wrestling for you," back when you were VHS, before everything was DVD. And it was a WrestleMania. And I just remember the match that stuck out was Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels in the main event, 60-minute Iron Man. And man, for that to be the first match that I remember, that just set the tone for me. That was it. There was no going back. We were just mesmerized. My mum would come in from the kitchen and be like, "Those two are right. They're not saying anything." Me and my brother just sat there, man, for an hour, never said a single word. Just watching these two go at it. It was just insane. That's when I first thought, from an athletic standpoint, I'd love to do this. I'd love to see if I could do that for an hour. All these holds and these throws and these locks, and I just thought, wow, this stuff just looks incredible. Before I knew the inner workings of the business too, so that was when I think I first really liked wrestling. So when I found out the truth about professional wrestling, we're not here to insult anybody's intelligence. So when I found out the real truth about professional wrestling, then I fell in love with it. Because then I was just like, well, hold on a minute. These guys are gifted athletes that do what they do. And there's like a story to it. That was it, man. I was just like, how can these guys are like actors, but but Olympic athlete level actors, and I'm just like, how do you combine this stuff? It was just insane, man. It was insane for me watching watching Hulk Hogan as a kid, and seeing some of his stuff. Then I learned about Ric Flair, and Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and oh my god, I was blown away by what these guys do. You ever see I was lucky enough to be growing up when the Attitude Era was around, and you look at Steve Austin, probably the biggest star in the history of wrestling. When that glass broke and his music hit, shit, like, man alive, you just got goose pimples, man, all over your body. My mum used to have to stay up and watch pay-per-views for me just to tell me that he didn't lose. But it was the night before school, so I couldn't watch it. She'd be taping it for me anyway. I physically would be upset knowing that he was wrestling Dude Love, and the chances are that he might lose. And she'd wake me up at like 4 a.m, man, when I had school like in 3 hours time, because I'd tell her, wake me up when it finishes, you've got to wake me up and tell me. Man, she'd knock on my door, wake me up at 4 a.m. and say, he won, it's fine. Then I could finally go sleep. I was hooked. I was hooked, man. It was good. But I think it was Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels that first got me, to be honest.
That's WrestleMania 14, right, when Shawn won the title, wasn't it?
I think it was
when he's in the white tights, I think.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's a vintage Mania. That is
insane match. The quality, man, to go for an hour like that at the pace where those guys go, it's just insane. It is just insane. Insanely good.
It's one of the true demonstrations of what it means to be a professional wrestler. So
really part of what we do.
Yes. So we go from there, and then obviously you become a pro wrestler. So my question is, how did you get started in this industry?
Well, I always wanted to wrestle, and we talked about it. A group of three of us as friends, me, my brother, and a friend of mine, Kev. We always talked about being wrestlers and how we'd love to do it one day, but there were no schools, man. I mean, when I first started 5 years ago, there were no schools. There was no wrestling in the Southwest. All we ever had was the occasional show that they would come down, and you just see on the poster, it would just say wrestling, and you'd be like, wow, a wrestling show, And the thing was, I had to travel to a company called Varsity Pro Wrestling came down here. They ran a show in Exmouth, which is like 10 miles from where I work, from where I live. And they brought over Billy Gunn. And, if you were growing up watching wrestling in the Attitude Era, Billy Gunn, I mean, that's just insane. And here's a guy, that was really in the heat of everything. King of the Ring winner, IC champion, 11 world tag titles, 10 world tag titles, whatever it was. He's been there, done it, seen it, wrestled everybody, And, man, when he came to Exmouth, we just couldn't miss it. There was absolutely no way in hell that we could miss that, man. And so we went to watch that show in Exmouth. If I recall, I think I took a night off work. I was meant to be working at Tesco at the time. My friend covered for me and just said to my boss, I was in the store, man, but I just started to work. I mean, I was about to start work 20 minutes, and he was like, come on, we got to go to this wrestling show, man. We can't miss it. It's Billy Gunn. And I said, dude, I've got to work at 5 p.m. And he was like, I'll go and tell your boss you're sick. And I was like, what if someone sees me? He's like, just get out the store now. Just walked out the store, man, wearing my Tesco clothes, and went to watch the show in Exmouth. And we've spoken to the promoter, the UK kid, Tom, and just asked him about his school and stuff. He wasn't running the school at the time, but he said, just keep coming to the shows, and as soon as something comes up, we'll let you know. 3 months later, they ran another show. We turned up on the Monday to watch the show, ended up going on a 3-day tour. We ended up riding around in the back of a van with T-Bone, and we went, it was Exmouth, Bournemouth, Portsmouth. Just setting up the ring, taking another ring. 3 days, man. Getting back from Portsmouth, rode back with Chris Andrews and Sam Andrews by pure chance, really, that they were going back our way. We had no money. We were skinned. We'd been sleeping in the back of a van for 3 days. But it was after that I spoke to, I was emailing Varsity Pro Wrestling all the time. When's you opening? When are you opening the school? When are you opening the school? So, travelled 150 miles there, 150 miles back every weekend to train, and because there was nothing down here. You got to remember, there was nothing. I mean, now there's 6 companies that run in the Southwest, but 5 years ago there was nothing. There was nobody. I had to go 300 miles round trip to learn to wrestle. I'm glad I did, because it taught me life lessons, man. Wrestling at the age of 21 taught me some serious life lessons. It's really cool. You know, really, really good fun. But I got my break with VPW, Varsity Pro Wrestling.
All right, because I'm doing a fair bit of driving myself. I'm doing because LEP is in Torquay. I live in Weybridge in Cornwall. I wasn't born in Cornwall though, Jason. So that's not a mark against me.
So you mean you weren't born there, but you chose to move there?
I was forced to move here when I was 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose you're still getting over it now, are you?
I've kind of gotten used to the place. It has its charms in a weird way.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Unfortunately, you have to kind of be here for a while before you start to see it. Anyway, but yeah, it's 70 miles one way, 70 miles back, twice a week. So I'm doing about 280 miles a week to learn how to wrestle.
Nice.
So I'm very much understand that it's worth it. It is. It's very much worth it.
Is that commitment there? So for the guys that don't know you and don't know your story, 280 miles a week to learn to wrestle. You understand me? That's commitment. Guys that aren't in this business and girls that aren't in this business wouldn't understand. Why would you travel 280 miles to then pay money to learn to get your ass kicked? Well, why would you do that? In what walk of life is that normal? But to us, man, that's the standard. That's the normal. You know? But guys outside and girls outside don't understand that. They can't fathom it. You know?
It's one of those things that's like unless if you do it, unless if you listen to Shia LaBeouf and just do it, you will never know.
Yeah. It's true.
I mean, the thing is with wrestling, you hear a lot about it's painful. You hurt yourself. Yeah, I hurt myself. I've got bruised all the way down my shin, down the inside line of my shin. It feels like it's cracked. I've got hands which are struggling to grip things now. I'm in pain. I get hurt. But the thing is, there's also the flip side to that. The bit when you're actually flying through the air, it's kind of fun until you land. But it's kind of fun, the actual falling part of it. The landing you could do without, but yeah. And the bit where you're actually flip side and you're actually kicking somebody's ass, throwing them around, that's kind of fun as well.
That's a good feeling, man. Who doesn't want to, you get to test yourself as well, physically and mentally, Man, you see guys break all the time at wrestling, don't you? You see guys are broken, laying there, gasping for air, man, deep belly breathing, just hitting a bit of cardio and they just don't have anything left in the tank. Coaches screaming, get up, one more, and you're laying there thinking, shit, I haven't got one more. I don't have one more. There is no one more. Come on, you got one more to go, and you're thinking, I don't, because I can't do that. I can't do. But what that does to our bodies, what that does to our minds, is it strengthens us, and it makes us, we're learning as we go. We're learning and we're growing. And, very few places in the world, man, will test you the way wrestling does. It's not natural. It's not natural what we do. To learn what we do is not easy. It's extremely difficult, man. Extremely tough. And the thing is, as well, like, just when you think you've got it, you learn there's always more to learn, man. There's always more to learn.
Never stops, ever.
Agreed.
And, so so after that, this is always a lovely question, because I always love to know this. Like, who would be your dream opponent to work with? Ooh, from anywhere.
My dream opponent. It's got to be The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Just because, how... The thing is, like, how would I work a heat on The Undertaker? Like, he's 6'10" and 21 stone. Like, I'm 5'9" and I weigh 12 stone. Like, how can I work heat on The Undertaker? Like, what can I do, man? Like, what... The thing is, like, with it has to be The Undertaker. Just from a even as a fan standpoint and a character standpoint, I have no idea how we'd work out the way that match would work. But no doubt about it, man. That isn't that everybody's dream. It's got to be Taker at WrestleMania, isn't it? I can't think of anything more. I can't think of anything more sort of more. From like because I'm still a wrestling fan. I'm learning to wrestle, but I'm still a fan.
Yes, that's the one thing. A lot of people a lot of people just also assume once you get into it that's it. But you got to understand, like, we are fans. Like, we wouldn't be doing wrestling if we weren't fans of it. Deep down inside, there's a fan inside of us. Yeah, there's a fan inside every single one. If you don't start wrestling unless you like wrestling, you know?
I love it, man, to do what we do.
Yes, precisely. Now, that's somebody who you'd love to work, but there is a team. There was something there was a match that did happen, and that was with TNT. Now, there's a few things going on with TNT. Now, the question is, pardon?
You got to bring these guys up again.
Look, you see, the thing is, I asked them, and I just have a feeling that that the match at PWA, New Year Mayhem, it doesn't seem to have settled the score, because they went. Jack Union said on this podcast that he believes you are a paper champion, and that says to me this rivalry is not over. Question is where does this rivalry go from here?
Well, consider this. I team with a good friend of mine, Mark Walsh. Okay, these are the facts. We are the elite. The marvelous one, Mark Walsh. We are the elite. That is another fact. Here's another fact. When we wrestled what are they called? TNT? When we wrestled these chumps at PWA, 2 of us walked away winners, 2 of us walked away losers. 2 of us walked away with a massive winner's paycheck. 2 of us walked away, 2 of them just about walked away with a loser's paycheck. I'm laughing all the way to the bank. So when you ask me what's next, as far as I'm concerned, it's over. I've got nothing to say to TNT. They tried their hardest, and just like everybody else, they failed. What? I mean, here's the thing. A wolf does not concern himself with the actions of a sheep. Do you understand?
I do understand, Mr. Wyatt. I really do.
The way it is this. Maximo seems to have a claim that because he was never pinned in the middle of the ring for the championship that I hold, as you can see in that wonderful photo in my nice Ted Baker suit, he likes to remind us quite often that he was never pinned and never officially lost the title.
Yes, he did mention that on the podcast. Yeah, he did.
Surprise, surprise. 3 days before our contest, it was, to date, at the time, the largest selling LEP show that had occurred. It was the biggest, fastest selling show that LEP had. Maximo versus Jason King. 3 days before the show, Maximo pulls out with an alleged broken wrist. 3 days beforehand. 72 hours. You know what? I've never heard anything like it. Talk about an excuse. Talk about making this stuff up. I never ran from anybody. Ever. In my life. I'm not about to start now. But 72 hours before our match, Maximo breaks his wrist. In steps Danny Walsh, PWA heavyweight champion, 10-year pro. Instead, I just whooped his ass and pinned him clean in the middle of the ring, all by myself, without help from anyone. Things don't change. Once a winner, always a winner. The fact of the matter is this. If, for some reason, Maximo or Jack Union want one more go at the elite, then fine. I say, let's have one more go. Let's have one more dance. Same thing will occur. I'll be laughing all the way to the bank with my winner's paycheck compared to a loser's paycheck.
Yeah, I think, well, there's not really a whole lot more you can say, is there? It's just, I'm going to beat you again. Well, I mean, TNT, I tell you what, I really do hope this rivalry continues, because I was there in the audience. I saw that match live. I watched it. I saw it happen. And it was a good fight. And I want to see that. I want to see that again. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed that match, and I want to see it again.
Let's be honest, right? Maybe I'm not giving these guys enough credit. Let's be genuine here, okay? they busted their ass and they worked real hard. And it was a great contest, man. And there were points where they gave me a whooping and they gave the Marvelous One a whooping. And there's no doubt about it. They fought hard. But at the end of the day, if you're playing football, you hit the crossbar 3 times and you hit the post twice, you get a goal disallowed. You still haven't scored a goal. Do you understand?
Oh, I understand exactly. That happens to me all the time on Football Manager.
I can imagine. Same as probably with women. I imagine you get that problem. You don't quite manage to score.
Not so much with the girls, no.
Boys, maybe.
Well, boys, don't even try with boys.
Not whatever, Chunny.
No, look, listen. The Chun does not concern himself with chasing after boys.
Okay.
Let's just make that perfectly clear. We're going girls, and he doesn't fail.
Okay. Well, at least that's announced now on the podcast. So to any guys listening that were thinking that Glen was a homosexual, it's okay. I was thinking that too. It's fine. But he has denounced that publicly. So now we know. That's fine.
Okay. Wait, nah. Why would anybody think that?
There are rumours that we hear,
Oh, God. Rumours. Look, listen. I work in a supermarket, right? And I hear about 100 rumours a day. Okay? Now, let me tell you this. Precisely 101 of those 100 rumours are always wrong. So if you hear a rumour, just assume it's wrong.
Interesting.
That's what I've learned to. That's my life experience. That's what life has taught me. If I hear a rumour, it's always wrong. It's never right, ever. But pretty much.
See, this is the problem with you, Glenn. You let facts get in the way of a good story.
But facts are good stories, man. Facts are good stories.
Next question, Chun.
Yeah, let's do the next question. What is your favourite part of being a pro wrestler?
Well, I listened last week to PJ Jones's podcast. I'm a fan of PJ Jones. I like his work. He's a good athlete, great worker, and
And he's also a fellow. He's also, one more point. He is also a fellow winner.
He certainly is. How can you not appreciate his win-loss record in professional wrestling? It's outrageous. I think it's second only to me, to be honest. But I'm sure that as long as PJ Jones doesn't run into Jason King, and Jason King never runs into PJ Jones in the squared circle, everything will be just fine. He can run around calling himself the winner all he wants. The way I see it, PJ made a very, very valid point. When to call ourselves professional wrestlers would mean that from professional wrestling. And that's not the case. I mean, man, I got 5 different ways I earn money. Was a national poker champion. I can make a good earning playing poker if I wanted to. I was a personal trainer. I can make a decent earning there. I've got a day job that pays me well. And I work as a doorman doing security work in bars, pubs and clubs in evenings for a paid night out twice a week. So professional wrestling is extremely important to me, but I'm not a professional wrestler. I'm a wrestler and an entertainer, but I'm not a professional. Not really. I study the art of professional wrestling, but I wouldn't say I'm a professional. I don't make my living from professional wrestling. There are some guys that do, and to the ones that do, I say good luck to them. And it's incredible that you can get an earning in the UK out of professional wrestling. I think that's fantastic, and that is a real testament to how hard they work and how hard they've had to work to get the name and face out there enough to be able to do that. But yeah, man, I'm not a professional. No, I'm a wrestler, but I'm not a professional wrestler. Not really. Besides, I'm an entertainer too. Your question was, unless I'm mistaken, went off on a bit of a tangent there. Am I right in saying that your question was, what's the best bit about professional wrestling? Best bit is the crowd. It is always the people. When somebody pays their money, their hard-earned money, they have a right, in my opinion, to boo you, cheer you, whatever they want. But they have that right once they've paid. I don't spend my hard-earned money on them. So the fact that they would spend their money that they have earned in their life, we all go through struggles in life. Everybody goes through it. The fact that they would spend the money that they've earned, potentially slaving over a job that they don't even like, just to get 2-3 hours watching us perform, that for me was I'll never ever not take a photo with a fan. I'll never ever not sign an autograph. You'll never see me not smiling. You'll always see me well dressed in front of the fans. Always. They are our lifeblood. Because essentially, without them, what are we? Without them, we're nothing. You know, they give us the opportunity to be larger than life. You know, a good crowd, a hot crowd, man, is what wrestling's about. It's the people, man. It's the fans. The interaction with them is everything. They have the right to boo you, cheer you. You know, they have that right. They paid for that right. That's my favourite, man. Is getting that reaction from them. You know, pissing them off, making them laugh, getting them upset. You know, cheating. When I low blow a guy behind the referee's back, boom! The crowd go batshit crazy as the ref counts 1, 2, 3. I roll out the ring, man. Some days I'm looking at them and they're sticking their fingers up to me. They're swearing at me. You know, they're scowling at me, man. They're horrible. They look like Jesus Christ, like I've just pushed their gran in front of a train. They look so mad, you know. And I just think to myself, I did my job tonight, you know. But they got the right to do it. They've got the right to get pissy. They got the right to get moody. They got the right to cheer. They got the right to boo. They're the best bit of wrestling. They're the best bit, man. Is their interaction, their faces, their happiness, their sadness, their emotion. That's the best bit about professional wrestling, I think. That's my opinion.
So that is that's got to be. I think I'm honestly going to say that's probably the best answer I've ever heard to that question, because it's and the point is, like you say, they these fans as well. They do what we do. We both have jobs, real world jobs. I don't think either of us really like having to do our real world jobs. I know I don't, because it means I have to deal with people getting in a really bad mood and treating it as if I personally has screwed them over, which isn't the case. Yeah, and stuff like that. And yes, they pay their money to come and see you wrestle because that's what they want to do. And yeah, it's an awesome feeling that somebody would want to come and see you as well.
Well, it's heartwarming, is what it is. It's heartwarming that I will never ever give less than 100%. No excuses. No going out drinking the night before. No having a cold. No having a cough. No having a bad injury. I absolutely will never ever not give my 100 for these people. Never. I don't care if it's 3 people in the crowd, 30,000 people in the crowd. Man, it means a lot to me. It's humbling, and that's the truth. It's humbling, is what it is. That they would pay to see me. I mean, I get to prance around in my pants and act like a silly man for 20 minutes. You know, and do you know what? I couldn't ask for any more. We got some good fans too in the Southwest, some hardcore fans. You know, man, I could name them. I know them by name. You know, a few of them. You know, truly, they make it what it is. You know, they make, man. I could do free autograph signings forever. Photos with their kids, man. I could do that stuff for free for forever, because that stuff for me is if I put a smile on someone's face because of the way I perform. You know, then I'm done, man. That will set me off for a month. I'm happy for the next 4 weeks, knowing that, you know, that you've lightened somebody's mood. That for me, man, is you know, it's unparalleled. You know what I mean?
I do. I know exactly what you mean, because because I'm a bit like you when it comes to a few things. Like in terms of like you like to remind people about your title reign, as you should, because it's a great title reign. I also quite like to tell people about having pretty much 1,050 subscribers now on YouTube. So I know exactly how you feel, because that means that many people liked watching something that I created to entertain them enough that they wanted to see more of me doing that. And I know exactly what you mean. That's why this podcast, I want to continue making it better. That's why I clean my room. That's why I've actually arranged my 2 hats, my racing helmet and my Bray Wyatt hat, on top of each other. I've still got, and now I'm getting posters. I'm trying to make the show as good as I can be. I want to keep the guests coming. I want to keep people entertained. That's because, as much as because I enjoy doing it, because it's a thank you to those guys, like who want to watch, and I get that feeling. I do. Which means that whilst we're here, thank you for watching as well. It means a huge amount that you keep tuning into this show.
Yeah, agreed, man. I agree with that, absolutely. A massive thank you goes out to everybody. You got to consider that. Again, same thing. They're taking time out of their day to see what we do. to hear us speak, it's humbling. That's the truth. It's humbling.
It is. I mean, like we've had over 100 people listen to Grayson. We're getting there with PJ and TNT, and I have absolute faith that this episode will also break that mark. 200,000.
What shocks me is that somehow 100 people wanted to listen to Grayson Reeves. I mean, that I can't believe. It was only a matter of time before that chump got mentioned, wasn't it?
Do you know what it probably is, Jace? There's probably 100 people tuned in to hear me.
Oh, well, Chun, don't sell yourself short, will you there, pal?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I can't sell myself short. The great thing about me, though, the really good thing about me is I'm very humble. You'll never hear me bragging about things that I've done, but yeah.
Yeah. Man, I know what you are, Chun.
I know. I'm stay humble, stay hungry. These are the words I live by.
No, get out of here.
If you smell
the words you live by, are I'll do anything for a fiver. Those are the words you live by.
I'm gonna try not to kill me, man.
Hey, anybody under 18 listening to this show, put your fingers in your ears a minute, please. Put your fingers in your ears. Good. Now your fingers in your ears. The words you live by, China, any holes a go. That's the words you live by.
Yes.
Okay. And under 18s, take your fingers back out your ears now.
Hey mate, how are they going to know to take it? I've got it because they're probably not going to know because they can't hear you because you've got their fingers in their ears.
Yeah.
There you go. Hopefully, hand gesture, they'll know.
I'll tell you what, you're a good lad, Glen.
I know. I had to make sure they knew. Because now we're going to go to Plug City.
Woo!
Yes. Plug City. Jason King. It's now time for you to take the center stage of Plug City, the Plug Square of Plug City. What upcoming appearances have you got lined up for us?
Thank you, Glen. So I'll be in Cornwall on Saturday. It will be CPW. I'm teaming with Mark Walsh, fellow partner of the Elite. I wrestle against Jamie Pern, LEP Academy student, and he really is a great up-and-coming young man. Talent for the future. He's only 14 years old. Busts his ass every time. Runs his mouth a little bit about the king, but I'm going to whoop it. It's fine. Also, we're teaming up against Danny Walsh. He's one of my favourite people in the whole business. He's my coach. I'm looking forward to. Last time me and Danny Walsh met, I'm 1-0 up. So, I'm kind of looking forward to wrestling him again. Teaming with Mark, we've got great chemistry. So that's next Saturday. Great show. Next Saturday, guaranteed, in Cornwall. You can see me for the British Grand Prix, PWA in March. That really will be a great showing. I know you've got Krieger, Josh Knott, Eddie Ryan, and Grayson Reeves. For some reason, those four in the British Grand Prix tournament. The winner that goes through that one faces John Harding. He's an honest, solid champion, John. I mean, I've not met him yet in the ring, which is just as well for John, I think. But he's a great champion too. PWA have got big things coming, man. That's in March. You'll see me at DWA when they relaunch. I'm hoping this year. I'm hoping to get just a little bit further afield, but more as we get that, really. Of course, LEP. You'll always see me at any LEP show in one way, shape, or form or another. I'll always be there and thereabouts at LEP. That's my home. That's, the colours I bleed are black and yellow. Those are LEP's colours, man. That's what I'm about. I love what we do at LEP. I love, from the youngest kids to the oldest vets. Anything LEP, my heart and soul go into that. So as soon as we get an LEP show announced, when management are able to book a secure date and find me an opponent, no doubt I'll be defending my LEP championship that I've held, by the way, for 175 days today. You can find all my updates, like I said earlier, on my Jason King page. Please give the page a like. I get lots of people asking all the time about when my next show is. They want to come watch, they want to come training. Get on the page, give it a like. It's the only way you get my updates. It's the only way you get them. So stop saying to me, I want to know how, and I want to... That's how. Give the page a like. Cheers, Glenn. That's the stuff I got to get out.
Absolutely. And by the way, if you want to go and give that page a like right now, look down below. Look at below us right now. Look in the show more in the description. It will be there. It will be there because once this show has done and gone live, I'll go in there, I'll edit the description, add in all the links to everything I've promised to link, and I'll be linking everything that you need. So you will find a link to Jason King's page in the description of this, so that you can find out where he's going to be exactly when he knows.
You are a hard man, Glenn.
I'm a professional. Well, I'm not. I'm not a professional. I'm an amateur, but I'm trying to become a professional. And one way to become professional is plug and link. Yes. So now it's my final question for you, actually, which is probably good because it's coming up to the hour. Because I'm going to ask you this question again, because your advice on this question was stunning, and it's something that I think a lot of people who are looking to get started in this business and are looking at schools really do need to listen to, because it was very good last time. So what advice would you give to a new starter?
Good question. Great question. And you know what? I can't remember the answer I gave you. It'll probably be pretty much the same thing, because it's my standard answer, because it's what I believe to be true. Several pieces of advice. The first one, look around when you're searching for wrestling schools, okay? First and foremost, don't just go, oh, wrestling school, I'm going there. If you don't know the guy that's your trainer, look him up. Have you seen his matches? Is he on YouTube? Where's he been? Who trained him? Where's he worked? Where has she worked? You know, what's his history? You know, where can they get you? So look up your trainer first and foremost. Look at the history of the academy. Has anybody ever come out of that, that training school? Has they got anywhere? You know, I mean, are there any real talents coming out of that school? The reason you've got to look for these things is because you don't want to end up paying some chump X amount of pounds every month and never get anywhere, never get anything, never learn to wrestle at the end of the day. I heard a story about a guy that paid £5,000 once, and in 3 months training, all he did was learn to hit the ropes and to bump.
Oh, that's the proof. That's not what you need to learn. A million things more than that.
Well, it was a 12-week training camp for £3,000, 3 to 5,000, I think it was, something like that. And all he learned was bump and hit the ropes. That stuff's extreme. Those two things are extremely important. But I would have hoped that I'd come away more than that after 12 weeks and $3,000. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. After $3,000, he didn't even learn an offensive move.
Nope. No bodyweight control, no nothing. So first thing is to look up your coach. Certainly, because you need to know where you're going. Where can this guy get me? What has he done? Where has he been? Is he really qualified to teach me? Sure, he can probably teach me the basics, but can he get me any further? Can he advance my career when the time is right? If not, then it's probably time to move on, time to, soldier up elsewhere. Other thing you got to look for is maybe, it's that feeding system at the end of the day. It's where can it get me? That's training school-wise, okay? The other thing is your body. Your body is your tool at the end of the day. In this business, you have got to look after your body. You have got to look after it. Bumping on a wrestling ring, on a canvas, it hurts. Getting suplexed, getting slammed, getting kicked, punched, elbowed, kneed, forearmed. This stuff hurts, man. And it's real. Like, people will tell you what they want, but until you come down into a wrestling ring and start training, you're not qualified to tell me it ain't real. Because I will wrestle anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place that tells me wrestling is not real. Because come and do what I do. Come and put your body through what we put our bodies through, and then tell me it's not real. That would be incorrect. You've got to look after your body. If you are serious about wrestling and serious about training, get to a gym. No excuses. There are absolutely zero excuses to be out of the gym. Zero. Guys that say I can't afford it, then buy some bloody weights and train at home. On the internet now, there are training programs everywhere. There are millions and millions of training programs, nutritional tips everywhere. Go out and buy a muscle and fitness magazine. Go out and buy a flex magazine. Before you know it, you'll have routines to build, to get leaner, to strengthen the core, flexibility, everything. Diet plans, nutrition plans. Get yourself a protein shake eventually if you need to. But there is absolutely no excuse to not look after your body. Do not show up at wrestling school expecting to learn to wrestle, expecting to be in contests and matches, within the first 3 weeks if you ain't in shape. If you can't hit those ropes 20, 30, 40, 50 times, If you can't bump 20, 30, 40, 50 times, then don't expect to be wrestling. It is hard work, and it is like nothing you have ever done on your body, I can promise you. But the fact of the matter is this: if you want it bad enough, put the effort in. Do not show up to a wrestling school, even a crappy wrestling school where the coach don't know his ass from his elbow. Do not turn up to a wrestling school looking like shit, because it's embarrassing for you. You won't be able to keep up. You'll hold other people back. I get if you can't do something technically. If you've got 2 left feet and learning the footwork is hard, that's fine. But put that goddamn effort in the gym, man. Ask people. Ask the guys that came before you when you're at the school. Ask lots of questions. Where did they go? Where have they been? What can they do? What can you learn? Do they have training tips? Do they have nutrition tips? All these things, man. Being humble is important. I don't care what you've done outside of wrestling. I was a national champion at poker. Made loads of headlines and things. Doesn't mean a fucking thing. Doesn't mean a thing in wrestling what I might have done outside of it. Doesn't matter. Nobody cares. I come into wrestling as a new guy, start right at the bottom. I don't care if the guys are younger than me, if they're older than me, if they're female. If they've come before me, then I've got to be respectful. It is a business built on respect and giving back. I promise you this business is like nothing you've ever done. If you are thinking about breaking into wrestling, you need to look at these things. Let's break that down one more time because I need to stress this. 1.1, look up your coach. Who is he? What can he do? Where has he been? Where can he get you? That's the first thing. Do you trust this person? 2, are you in the gym? Are you training? If not, why? Why not? And 3, stay humble. There's an old saying in wrestling that I didn't follow when I first started wrestling, and that was really more the person I am. I didn't mean to disrespect anybody, but they say mouth closed, ears open, or mouth shut, ears open. Listen to the vets, in other words. I didn't do very well at that when I first wrestled because a bit of a gob on me, and I learned, but that was just the way I was as a person at that stage of my life. You learn so much more. There are some really talented guys in this part of the country, pros of 10, 20 years, and you know who I'm talking about when I say 20 years. There are some really, high-level pros, man, that I've seen them lose their temper with guys that didn't know when to shut up. I won't slate anybody, but I've been at shows, man, where I've seen these guys trying to tell a story, trying to explain something, and people are just trying to talk over them. They're not listening, man, and it's like, shut the fuck up and listen to these people.
I saw it yesterday.
You saw it yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
So without giving away any names, because we don't slate anybody, tell us what happened, but without slating anyone. Just tell us the situation. Try and give listeners the mistake.
Very, 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 very simple. We're all gathered around, ready to listen to what we're going to do next. We're going to see a demonstration of some takedowns that we're going to do, and we're going to try and build into a four takedown submission hold sequence. And bear in mind, these guys who've at this school, they've never done this before. So we're trying to listen out for technique, and guys talking over him, over our trainer. Trainer tells him that you're talking over me. He's like, who keeps talking whilst I'm trying to explain this? Go and stand in that corner and do a headstand for a minute. This person says no. Send out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Get out. Exactly. Get out. And here's the thing. That's a great example. So if anybody's listening now and is wondering, perfect example. Why are you have no more right, I don't mean you, I mean anybody, have no more right than anybody else in that school. You might know something that they might not. So that doesn't mean when he's teaching that you've got the right to talk over him. If he says to go do your headstand, shit, I used to mess up and it was, God damn, get out of the ring, give me 200 squats. Oh no. I messed something up. Get out there and give me 50 push-ups. Man, that's what we do. It's not easy. And the worst thing you can do is come in with a chip on your shoulder and attitude, because there are some big dudes too in this business that no ways are beating the crap out of you in that ring. Man, I've had my ass whooped in that ring before. I didn't do anything wrong. Maybe the guy was just feeling like, I'm going to teach this punk a lesson because I was young and I was cocky. It'll happen. It's no good coming, I don't care how big you are either. It's no good coming to this business with an attitude. You've got to come in, you've got to be prepared to grind, you've got to be prepared to listen, you've got to be prepared to learn. So, point 3 is stay humble. 1, look up your coach. Very important. Look at the history. Where can he get you? 2, get in the gym, get training. 3, stay humble. That's what I would say to somebody aspiring to get into professional wrestling.
Yeah, that's very good. I mean, for me, when I came in, I came in, and I haven't been doing the training thing. You have no idea how hard it is. I mean, I knew I wasn't in. I'm going to say it. I was naive about it. I will always say I was naive, and I had no clue. I learned very, very quickly and very fast. Trust me, it's very hard. But the thing that I think I did have right is whenever people tell me anything, whenever anybody is in the room offering any advice ever, my mouth is like this, and I'm listening. I'm trying to pick up as much as I can. Like I mean, I'm quite a jovial, cheeky, chappy person. So I'm quite, I'll have a laugh. But a lot of things I say are in jest and not out of, just I always, when people are being serious and people are trying to offer me advice and showing me something, I'm listening and I'm studying, because that's what I'm there to do. If you go in as a student and you don't do that, why wouldn't you? And here's the thing as well. There's another thing, like you said, it's like you've got to be in there training, because your body is your vehicle to succeed. You wouldn't go into an F1 race with an F1 car where the wheels have fallen off, would you? That's just you wouldn't play tennis with a racket with 3 holes in it.
Absolutely, man. You're spot on. And Glenn, these are the things that people take for granted. Man, I remember your first night. If you don't mind me saying, he was sucking wind so fucking bad, I swear to God. It was like oxygen deprivation. It was crazy. Yeah. I thought the guy was going to pass out.
I thought it was as well.
But the thing was, Glenn, that I really liked about you was that you put that effort in. You grinded, man. You grinded. You looked like you were going to die, but I'll tell you something now. Looked like you were going to die, but you didn't. You got through it. And every time I've seen you since, you've got better, man. And that's part of, like you've just said, practicing those 3 things. And the point 3 is staying humble, man. Listening, taking it in, like you said yourself, man. We can all learn. Do you know what the beauty of this business is that I absolutely love? Because I get told all the time, man, he thinks he's this, and I don't care what people think of me. It doesn't bother me in the slightest bit. Wrestling is a small margin of my life. Okay, of the many things I do in my life, wrestling is a portion of it. So what people say about me in wrestling is that's fine, man. But here's the real kicker that I absolutely love about professional wrestling. We all want to get to the WWE. We all want to go there. When we're really, really good, we could hold seminars, we could become coaches, we could hold our own training schools, whatever we want. But the kicker is this. No matter where you've been or what you've done, if you finally make it to the WWE, what's the first thing they do? They repackage you, send you to NXT, and start you all over again. And that for me, yeah. It's their way of saying, listen, I don't give a rat's ass about what you've done before. It starts from now. You start from 0. Man, you look at what like Daniel Bryan had to go through, the losses and things he had to go through. Loki, when he came in, man, the losses he had to go through, these guys, the Miz, man, these guys paid their dues all over again. Doesn't matter where you've been or how long you've been doing this shit. The kicker is they send you straight back to point 1 again, which is why I always tell the guys, that I train with, I'm learning every day, man, still. And I'm telling the guys that learn a little thing or two from me from time to time, I'm telling them, I'm saying, guys, nail those basics, start all over again. I have started all over again so many times. Like, I have never, ever been too arrogant to go back to the beginning, to go back to the very, very start all over again. Done it so many times. I'm looking at something, I'm like, do you know what? I don't like the way I'm bumping. My bumps have got sloppy. Start again. Start all over again. 30, 40, 50 bumps and I'm bumping right again. I didn't like that tackle. My hip toss is a shit. Start all over again. And I'll do it till it's right. And this business is there's no quick fix. You're not going to just turn up and get perfection. And it's hard work. It's a grind. But it's worth all that travel, all the late nights, all the grinding in the gym, it's all worth those 10, 20 minutes to be in front of those people. It outweighs the bad tenfold. Tenfold, man. Maybe even more than that. To be out in front of those people for 10, 15 minutes, it's just, it blows you away. It's worth it. when you're in the gym and you're tired, man, and you're on the treadmill and you're running and oh God, I ain't got nothing left. And you remember, oh, I got a show in 3 days' time. Oh, another 10 minutes. And you're just like, yeah, let's go again. And that, man, it's that commitment. You know, it's like they say, it's like no other business in the world. I don't know, I'm torn, man. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But where else would you go in the world where you would happily get your ass whooped for 20 minutes, you know, every night? Absolutely get your ass kicked for 20 minutes and smile and laugh about it afterwards. You know, who for someone's viewing pleasure, you know, it's crazy, man. It's unheard of, really. It's lunacy. And if you didn't love this, then you wouldn't do it. You see, this is not wrestling. It's like the military. It's not something you can half-ass. You can't just come into this with a mindset of like, it'll be all right. I'll give it a pop. You've got to come in and give it your everything. You see what I mean?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
That's wrestling, man. That's what we do.
Exactly. Now, if you want to watch wrestling, plug, switch, here we go. Plug City, again. We do have shows going on for you all around the Southwest. And since this podcast is based in the Southwest, that's where we're going to plug. We're going to plug some shows from the Southwest. And we have a huge one coming up just this month, the 13th of February. We have CPW's New Year's Revolution. My guest last week, PJ Jones, he'll be facing the Mexican sensation, El Ligero, in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
That'll be a screamer, man. That's going to be incredible.
Oh, I'm actually excited just at the thought of it. Why wouldn't I be?
Yeah, dude, honestly, like you said, you're not a homosexual, but the noise you just made, you know, I'm not so sure.
That is my noise I made when I get excited about something.
About 2 guys grappling.
But it's going to be awesome.
Agreed. I'm not. Yeah, you'll get no mitigation from me, man. It's going to be a great contest. Can't wait.
And then you also have Nixon Newell versus Lizzie Styles, 2 of the UK's top women, are going to be facing each other in CPW's first ever women's match. And that's also going to be, it's going to be good.
That's going to be so good, man. They're so good too. Like, just, man, we can sit and just watch and learn so much from those two. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, yes. I am very much. I'm looking forward to that. You also have the match that has been aforementioned in this podcast, the pretty boy Danny Walsh and rookie Jamie Pierre versus Marvelous Mark Walsh and Jason King of the Elite. That's going to be... Well, that's going to... I mean, have I told you a match yet which you haven't stopped to think to yourself, oh, yes. No, I haven't. And it keeps going. You also have Josh Knott versus Liam Lazarus.
Oh,
man, that's also, again... And you also have a man who I believe you were referring to earlier, the UK Dominator versus the Rocker, John Harding.
That's going to be a tasty match too.
That is, I tell you what, I am in contact with John Harding, and he told me, he's like, if you want to see a match where you can learn something and really learn something, that's one you're going to want to watch.
Yeah, fair comment.
And then you also have the CPW trophy match. It's Dancing Daddy Bainsley, who I think we can assume whenever Jason King gets his rematch, which I'm expecting to happen, he's something.
Trust me, my lawyer's going over it now. I'm expecting it to happen too.
I think Bainsley's that champion. Is the trophy champion on borrowed time at the moment, but he is against 1, 2, 3, 4. Hang on, I need to count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. Yeah, okay. It's going to be Dancing Daddy Bainsley against ? 9 times. I think that means to be announced.
Let me tell you something now.
Yeah.
Dancing Daddy Bainsley, rather than wrestling 9 ? When I'm finished whooping Danny Walsh's ass and Jamie Pern's ass, I'll have my Earl Grey, I'll get dressed again, I'll come back out of the ring, and I'll whoop Bainsley's ass. You tell Terry Speller from me, okay? I don't like the Cornish radio presenter, I don't like Terry Speller, and I do not like Dancing Daddy Bainsley. You make that clear.
Okay. Well, as a potential, okay, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, okay? I believe the terrorists bombed 9/11, not the government. Okay, so there's 9 question marks there. Let me think about this. JASONKING. That's 9 letters.
Holy shit.
See, I think the Illuminati confirmed.
This is the Da Vinci Code.
Well, yeah. Maybe that's what I should just name myself now. The Code Breaker.
I think that's been taken by some Canadian.
Oh, you mean? Are you talking about the one who insists he's from Winnipeg when everybody else seems to think he's from Toronto?
Yeah, you got it.
Mr. Y2J.
And no, we're not talking about Grayson Reeves, who thinks he's Canadian.
No, we're not. I'm talking about Chris Jericho. I must admit though, I loved that moment in the WWE when the fan goes, "Go back to Toronto!" And he just immediately, out of that second's hesitation, just turns around and just goes, "I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot!" I just laughed at. A moment I saw that, I was like, brilliant. Oh, that's one of the things I love about the bad guys of wrestling. They can get away with so much.
Yeah, like announcing that you're from somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. I'm also going to look, because I've forgotten the actual day this is happening, and I want to get the date right. Wrestling, yeah, there it is. PWA. PWA. Yes, the British Grand Prix. I wanted to know the exact date of this show. It's going to be the 27th of March. Is the PWA British Grand Prix show.
That's going to be a great show too.
That is going to be awesome. It's like there are going to be some awesome matches, and I'm going to start reading those out over the coming weeks. But like you say, we've got a few names already announced. We've got the Elite are going to be on that show. Jason King, Marvelous Mark Walsh. I'm sure Danny Walsh, the PWA champion, will also be on that show. And you're going to have Krieger in that show. You're going to have Rocker John Harding's going to be on the show. You're going to have so many guys that are so worth your time watching are going to be on that show.
Guaranteed to be a good show. Guaranteed.
Yeah. And if you really want to know just how much I recommend that show, here's the thing. The last time I went to a PWA show, I'd already been to 5 Star Pro Wrestling in Liverpool that week. This was a show that had John Morrison, it had PJ Black, it had AJ Styles, it had Jay Lethal, it had Carlito, it had Rey Mysterio, it had Nick Aldis, it had so many guys. I've forgotten half of the people on the show. There were so many of them. Guess what? PWA put on a better show than all of them.
That's really good to hear.
That's no word of a lie. The matches on PWA, there is more stuff there. There's more to get behind, and it was more fun. The crowd were more into the PWA show because it was more engaging a show, and that's what matters. And I'm a big AJ Styles fan. I'll tell you that match was good. It's just it. Do you know what happened? I think that was going to be the best match on the card, and it was going like this. The match was like building, and then it sort of stayed like this until it ended. You didn't even see Styles Clash, Lethal Injection in that match,
which is no good, right?
Well, I'm not going to say if you're paying to see AJ Styles or Jay Lethal that you expect to see it. It's just you imagine that a match between a caliber of those stars is going to get to that level, but it didn't. And it was over in 10 minutes, which I thought it'd go for like 20. That's what I would have booked. If I was 5 star, I would have said, I want to see these guys for 20 minutes. But I don't know. I don't know. The show, it's not like the show is bad. It stayed at like it's like if you consider this whole screen here as like a chart of awesomeness, it stayed about here. PWA was more like up here.
That's a good sign for us guys in the Southwest.
I'm telling you, yeah, and I'm not bullshitting you because I'm from the Southwest. It's true.
Yeah, but you're from Cornwall. That doesn't really count.
Yeah, well, they claim they're from the. Yeah, look, okay. Look, CPW is from the Southwest as well, so I'm gonna have to just tell you this, like, well, whatever. It was. You know what? fuck your hatred of Cornwall, Jason King. You know what? You don't like Cornwall? Guess what? Cornwall fucking hates you too. Like, have some of that back.
Ever the professional there, Glen, Chun?
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's it. You've insulted my nation too many times. I'm going to get on the phone to my KGB Spetsnaz, born in Siberia, trained friend, Dmitry. And I tell you what, I hear this man is so dangerous. He has a collection of over 150 AK-47 assault rifles.
Does he?
He's not a man. Yeah, he's not a man you want to arrest with. We've got friends.
I know the guy you mean. If he's the one I think he is, he walks with a lisp and talks with a limp. I know the guy, yeah.
Well, I'd tell you, that's to lull people into a false sense of security.
You know, Chun, he ain't as bad as Jason King. I once killed 2 stones with 1 bird.
Oh, I love that. I love it.
I'm so bad I make medicine sick.
Oh, you didn't. You just did that. You went there. You went there. Right. So from there, we've also got wrestling schools to plug. Yes, we do. Now, I've got a list of wrestling schools that I want to plug. I made this list last week as well. So we're going to go back to last week's list for just a moment. Because we have, I'd tell you what, let's start with, in Jason King's opinion, the worst first. That is the CPW boot camp, which runs every single fortnight.
No, hold on. That's misquoting me there. I don't take anything away from the CPW boot camp. A lot of time, a lot of respect for the guys that run the school, a lot of time and respect for the guys that train at the school. So that's a misquote. I don't have anything negative to say about the CPW boot camp. I just don't like Cornwall. Okay.
Fair play, fair comment. Okay, but we do have the CPW boot camp, which runs every single fortnight. There's one yesterday on the 6th of, which month are we on? February. That's bad. I can't remember which month it is.
You're doing well, Glen.
I know, I do my best. And that means that the next one is going to be the 20th of February, if I've got my maths correct, which I think I have. And that will be CPW boot camp. It costs £30 for a session, or you can bulk buy. Again, all links that you need to find out about prices and dates and who's going to be taking the sessions, because it's because they don't just have one trainer down there. I've heard rumours about all sorts of trainers. I've heard the UK Dominator will be going down to do some training. I've heard potentially the pretty boy Danny Walsh will be down to do some training. I've heard that a man called Maximo is going to be down to do some training. I've also heard the winner, PJ Jones. In fact, I think the winner, PJ Jones, told you about that last week. I've heard Dancing Daily Bainsey. So if you go to CPW boot camps, you'll get a wealth of knowledge from a wealth of different guys, and it will be very, very much worth it. And that's at the Penrith Academy, so it's a big, nice sports school to train in. It's brilliant. I was there yesterday myself. Awesome day. Aside from CPW, if you want to go to Plymouth, you also have the Plymouth Wrestling Academy, which is run by John Harding. In fact, they go every single Sunday. I think that is from, trying to think of the timings of it. I think it's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And again, I will link everything that I'm talking to you about right now. You will find links in the description for that CPW, PWA, all of it. And they run at the Elite Fitness Gym. Oh, actually, I wrote down my notes for that. It's £10 a session or £35 a month with your head trainer, John Harding, who was taking the CPW class yesterday. And I can tell you, if you listen to John Harding, you're not going to go very far wrong, trust me. And plus, also, BJ Jones plugged this last week. DWA, the Devon Wrestling Association, they are starting back up in March. I think it's March 5th. They have a wrestling show there, which is going to be awesome. And they also are hoping to start up their wrestling school. At the moment, they don't have the first official details finalized, but they talked about Twitter, they talk about Facebook, and they will let people know as soon as they know the exact details of what's going on with the Devon Wrestling Association school. And finally, my school of choice, my main school, my main training gym, my dojo, with the colours are yellow and they are black, the colours that Jason King bleeds. It's the LEP Wrestling Academy every Tuesday and Thursday, and Sunday is a kids session. So if you have a kid who loves wrestling and he wants to start wrestling, get him down to LEP Academy on Sundays. There's a school for them.
And let's be honest, whose kid doesn't love wrestling?
Exactly. There's no reason not to. This is a school which does £15 per session or £30 for the month. Now, I just want to break this down for you right now. If you go to all 3 sessions available to you as an adult, that is Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, 2 hours per session, that's 6 hours per week for the entire month, £30. You are getting each session for less than £3 a session, and which broken down means about £1.50 per hour. That is an unbeatable price.
That's just phenomenal.
That is phenomenal. The P1, I mean, and your head trainer is the pretty boy Danny Walsh. Marvelous Mark Walsh is there. Jason King's there. The quality of training is
second to none.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. It's stunning. I mean, I train there, and I love training there, and I will always train there. The thing is, once you go LEP, you don't go back. You just don't go back.
It's the camaraderie, man, that we build. I think what we do better than anybody else is the bond we have with each other. Nobody's there to punish anybody, man. We're all there to help each other. Everybody's so giving. Everybody's giving. If if I want to practice something, there's never a nah, I ain't got time, man. Everybody's always willing to help each other. Always, always, always. That's how it should be, man. We're learning straight from the get-go that we're only as strong as our weakest link, and we only look as good as our opponent. You know, it's that camaraderie, man. That's the word. That's what we build at LEP.
Yeah, literally. Like if I were down there at LEP and Jason King is down there as a champion, and I asked Jason, well, can I practice this move with you for like 5 minutes? Jason King isn't going to say no to me. And like, if you come in there day one, and I'm there, and I've been there for a few months now myself, and you ask me like, hey, I want to try this move with you for a moment. I've never done this before. Can you help me with this? I'm saying yes. Everybody will say yes. I mean, everybody will probably help you with that move, even if you didn't ask them. You know, that's LEP. I mean, yeah, it's the support and tutoring system at LEP is stunning. You will feel like something. You will be a part. If you join LEP, you will be a part of something bigger than you. But you won't be made to. But you also won't be made to feel like that. You'll be made to feel like a very vital cog in that machine.
Amen.
Exactly. You'll never hear us say enough about LEP. There is another side to this show, though. We've talked a lot about the Southwest. We've talked a lot about Jason King. We've talked a lot about CPW. We've talked a lot about PWA. We've talked a lot about the Southwest wrestling scene. There are people watching this show who will want to hear us talk about some other scenes. Like some people might want us to make a reference to some sort of company, which I mean, you might have heard of, called the WWE or TNA. You know, so we are going to talk about some of that news right now. And like I told you at the start of the show, it's not happy news, unfortunately, because it's more ECW news now than it is WWE, but they own the rights to ECW, so kind of counts as it WWE. But ECW legend Axel Rotten passed away today. Passed away at the age 44 this week. Which Tai death match.
Crazy, absolutely insane. Craziest match I ever saw ever.
That's the thing with a lot of ECW. Like it's all stuff, and you can't believe what you're seeing because the abuse that they piled on themselves was insane. Like and Axel Rotten, it's like one of those names where you think of ECW, you think of Taz, you think of Rob Van Dam, Sandman. Axel Rotten is.
It's a damn shame, you know.
It's a loss. It's a very big loss to the business. I mean, he's a guy as well who had heard who sometimes you see like shoot interviews on like online, and guys will have bad words to say about like different various guys, I've never seen a shoot interview where somebody has had horrible words to say about Axel Rotten. And yeah, so rest in peace, man. At age 44, that's too young. That's a shame. Yeah. So thankfully, you can probably relive a lot of his greatest moments on the WWE network because they've got a lot of ECW programming on that show on the network now. So if you want to relive a lot of Axel Rotten moments, honor his memory, you can do that on the WWE network. So yeah, I'm not going to plug that network in a cheap plug because you know what, I don't need that, frankly. But there's also some news because we haven't actually done any TNA news at all on the show yet. There is TNA news, which is that there was a backstage incident between Awesome Kong and Matt Hardy's girlfriend, Rebby Sky. I'm not too sure of the actual incident. I think from what I've read or what I remember reading, I think they're having a disagreement or something. Like Rebby Sky was getting arrogant about something or something. And Awesome Kong was like, I think Awesome Kong is probably a bigger name in the women's wrestling scene than Rebby Sky. I'm just going to say that. And it's probably a respect issue. And Awesome Kong like put her hands on Rebby Sky. I don't think she actually beat her up or anything like that. I think it was just pushed her or something. But then I think obviously Rebby Sky's probably complained to TNA management because TNA, I think it was actually yesterday, released Awesome Kong.
That's crazy, man, isn't it?
Yeah. When you actually think about it, it is. It's bloody stupid.
It's a wonder what she must have done. I mean, to really get fired. I mean, to actually get fired from your job. You know, she's had to do something pretty wrong there, isn't she?
Yeah, it's like, what is so wrong there? Because unless it's just literally, it could just be she could be a victim of politics. Because honestly, Awesome Kong is currently involved in central storylines in the Knockouts division because she's now become a member of the Dollhouse, and they're doing things with her character and moving her in directions. And it's like, and now all of a sudden they've released her in the middle of what I think is quite a big push.
Here's the thing, and this is just again, like you said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, man, at all. But let's just look at the facts here, okay? Rebby Sky is Matt Hardy's wife. Matt Hardy is the heavyweight champion in TNA. Are you going to let his wife go, realistically, if she's messed up? Probably not. I don't know. I don't know how TNA works. I've not been there. I don't know. What I do know is she is Matt Hardy's partner, and he is the world champion. So come on. I think the writing's kind of on the wall if you're Awesome Kong a little bit there, which is probably a bit of a shame, but, you know, I mean, it's like, you know, if you're with somebody really important in the company, I wouldn't say you're untouchable, but realistically, you know, I mean, we don't know, man. Like you said, we can only speculate. You know, we can only speculate what happened. We don't know. We don't know that Awesome Kong didn't walk in one day and punch her clean in the face. You know what I mean? We don't know. You know, we don't know what happened. But it's, you know, when you're with the world champion, I think you probably got a little bit more leeway. I don't think things were ever going to be in Awesome Kong's favor in that situation. But again, I don't know. I you know, it might have no bearing, the fact that she's Matt Hardy's woman, you know, and he's the world champion. That might be ignored completely. But, you know, you know, what, you know, I'm not saying, you know, like, it is a little bit obvious, but who knows, man?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, stories like this have surfaced before. Like, you have incident between Randy Orton and Ken Anderson, and all of a sudden Ken Anderson's working for TNA. Yeah, all that's announced from TNA side of things, they announced a release that says that following a physical altercation in the locker room, that they conducted an investigation and determined releasing Awesome Kong is the appropriate action. But that is what it is, I guess. It is quite surprising, but I think TNA aren't the only ones releasing people. WWE are doing the same thing with NXT at the moment. It's quite a lot of guys actually being released. I think it's like 5 or so people that have been released.
Guys got let go, yeah. Damn shame, man. And the thing is, the other thing about some of the guys that got let go, one of them was a guy called Peter Howard, and Peter Howard was a guy from Exeter, where I'm from. He was, I believe, a discus thrower when they signed him. He'd never done a day's wrestling in his life, but they liked the look of him athletically, and they wanted to do something with him, so he got signed to NXT, which I was loving, because he's an Exeter boy. I was over the moon, man. I was just, like, so happy. You know, not since Joe Redmond have we had a guy from Exeter get into NXT, you know? And when Joe Redmond got released for whatever reason, you know, it was a damn shame, man, because, you know, he's fantastic. He's so good. And for whatever reason, it didn't work out in the WWE for Joe, which is a shame. And it hasn't worked out for Pete. And it's like, you know, to get an Exeter boy onto WWE TV would just be like, man, that'd be like a public holiday, as far as I'm concerned. You know, so I mean, you know, I don't know if Pete Howard will ever see this, but you know, I'd love to, certainly love to, man, get 10 minutes of his time, have a chat with him if he comes back to Exeter. It'd be cool to ask him about the experience. You know, same with Joe Redmond. I'd certainly love to get some of his time, man, to get in his ear and just speak about the experience. You know, we're not the only guys. You know, they're not the only 2 from Exeter now. You've got a few more guys coming through the ranks. You know, Josh Knott is 21 years old with 7 years experience. You know, trained under UK Dominator. You know, so there's a guy from Exeter that, you know, could be a future star, could be a future NXT guy. You know, you got Jason King. You know, shameless self plug. You know, I've only been doing this again 8 months. You know, it's there's options there, man, and it would just be so cool to get an Exeter guy onto that Raw roster. You know, that would just be like, that would be amazing. Yeah. Go on.
Sorry.
No, it's your show. Go on.
I was literally about to say, I don't get why they let Redmond go. I really don't, because for those of you who don't know, he performed in NXT under the name Oliver Gray. I mean, he was NXT tag team champions with Adrian Neville. I literally do not get what's like I said. When you look at Joel, he has the look and he has in-ring ability as well. It's like I don't understand why the WWE didn't get behind him. I really don't. I mean, they did to an extent.
God knows, man. Who knows? You know, I guess Joe knows, or an ex, you know, WWE knows. It's a shame, man, because he's so good. But you know, the good thing is, for selfish reasons, it's good for us as performers because we get him down here. You know, he's back down here again a little bit more, which again, for selfish reasons, that makes it a good thing because we get to learn from Joe Redmond again, which is, you know, worth its weight in gold, man. So that's, you know, again, selfishly, that's something that we can all benefit from. You know, that's the solace that we take.
Yeah, and Joel tends to perform down here in the Southwest a lot as well. Like he's coming back for DWA, for instance. I think, and I've even heard Joel Redmond's going to be a big part of that training school. So I mean, like, like you say, for selfish reasons, it's very good for the Southwest wrestling scene to have a man the caliber and name value of Joel Redmond down here is huge.
Absolutely, man, no doubt about it.
But
hey, one big thing about Exeter too. We've got Global Force Wrestling coming to Exeter.
Yes, you do. With names like Nick Aldis, you've got Mickey James coming there. You've got
Jeff Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt.
Yes, Jeff Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt. They're the other 4 guys. I think. Are they bringing everybody down there? I'm not sure because I think PJ Black works for them as well, doesn't he? So PJ Black will be there.
He's not on the poster.
That's the thing. I don't know if they're bringing everybody down. I'm not entirely sure on everybody who they're bringing down.
Well, look, here's the thing. That show, as amazing as it's going to be, again, you got Joe Redmond on it, you got Josh Knott on it, 2 Exeter boys. Big ups, lads. It's just awesome, man. I love it. Exeter born and bred, so it's good to see, good to know that they're on the show, you know.
Oh, I did hear that Party Marty Skrull was going to be there.
Yeah.
Marty Skrull will be on that show as well.
Yeah, man.
So I, in fact, he was one of the people who put on one of the better performances at I'd say that Marty Scurll was involved in Match of the Night at the 5-Star Wrestling show because he was involved in 6-man tag action with Nick Aldis, Jimmy Havoc on his team against Mysterio, Zack Sabre, and Will Ospreay.
Well,
So yeah,
that was a hell of a match.
That was a match that genuinely did hit the heights I thought it was going to.
Wow.
That was like I think that's like one of only 2 or 3 that did on like an iMatch card. So yeah, so Marty Scurll, I put some faith in.
We really have got some talented guys down here, don't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think I've said it before in this podcast. I know I will say it again. It is an incredibly exciting time for the Southwest.
Man, to be honest, for all of England, listen to some of those names you just rattled off then. I'm just like, wow, we got some real talented wrestlers in this country.
That is a very good point. And I think British wrestling in itself, just in general, 2016 is going to be a very big year. And I think you're about to see that the British wrestling scene is on the verge, in my opinion, of hitting the heights in this country that wrestling has done so in Japan and Mexico and America. I believe, hand on heart, that the wrestling scene in Britain is going to start to really grow to very similar status.
Oh, look at WAW, man. They've got TV pilots again to get British wrestling back on TV.
I really desperately hope that works.
Yeah, man, no doubt about it.
I mean, there's no reason why if they get on that it won't work, because you got the Knight family there. I mean, that's a reputable family. They're like the British version of the Harps.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're so good and so dedicated. I went to a training session up there. I'd love to go up there more if I had time. I mean, they're so dedicated to the craft, and they're so professional. They're so precise. They just love wrestling. They just love their life. Their blood is wrestling. When you got the opportunity to train at schools like that, man, you just cannot miss those chances. They're the perfect family to put wrestling back on TV in this country. They're the perfect guys to do it, man, because it is their life. That they put a lot of effort. They brought in Ken Anderson and Victoria and Scott Hall and shit, Joe Legend. It's just like, damn, man, these guys are, anybody in this business, in British wrestling, whether you like, I know there are certain guys don't get on with each other, but look, for the good of our business, for the good of British wrestling, you all want to keep your fingers crossed that they get a TV deal. You know what I mean? All of us, because that means more for everybody. That means more for the fans, more for the performers. It's not something you want to ignore. It's really not.
No, absolutely not. Just another word on the NXT pathway, just in case you don't know everybody. Like we mentioned Peter Howard. It's also apparently you also have Magno or Oscar Vasquez has been released, including Sylvester Lefort is gone. Marcus Louis, and I think the biggest name to be released is Mr. Bullfit himself, Bull Dempsey.
Man, I watched NXT live, and when he came out doing the whole Bullfit, but I was in stitches. I'd never seen that before, and people were just like singing along to it. Like I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. It was just so funny, that whole Bullfit thing. But I think honestly, the writing was kind of on the wall for him. When Alex Riley's back, who I love, like, as a performer, I absolutely love to watch Alex Riley. And I think that when Alex Riley beat Bull Dempsey, I was like, okay. I kind of thought like, I think the writing's on the wall a little bit there.
I think the writing's been on the wall for a little while, because I don't think Bullfit took off in the way that WWE hoped it would. Even though I think it was a good gimmick, people just weren't vocal enough for it. Like in the UK, people are going to be vocal for like virtually anything. Like, not anything, but most things. They like to have a laugh more than the American crowd do. And I think the Americans just weren't behind Bullfit that much. And it's like you see the things that have been happening on TV, like with the squash match with the Drifter in the It was in the NXT from the Wembley Arena, and then you also had, like you mentioned, Alex Riley. Which is a bit of a shame. I must admit, I enjoyed Bull Dempsey. He's like quite an old school type of wrestler. I think he had like the ability. He had the ability, I think, to combine that size with a fair bit of agility, and I think I must admit, I was a bit surprised that he was let go.
Bullfit. That's just hilarious. How can you not find that funny?
I used to like his old theme song. Bull, 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 bull. I used to love. Do you know why I think they started Bullfit? I think it's almost the counter to things that people were chanting after. Because in his old theme song, when it used to go bull, everybody used to go shit after it.
Well, that's kind of the whole thing, isn't it? I guess.
I think that's why it started Bullfit, and I think they were hoping people would chant fit after it. But unfortunately, it didn't quite happen.
It's funny, man. You know, it's a learning opportunity as well. That's the thing with NXT, I guess. Like they always say, don't they? There's no guarantees. Nobody's guaranteed anything. It's all just an opportunity. You know, which is, and he performed to his best, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he gave it everything he had over there, and it's like you say, it says it on Breaking Ground. Nobody there is guaranteed anything, and it's like nobody anywhere is guaranteed anything in pro wrestling. Well,
I don't know. You're guaranteed to get an ass whooping once or twice.
Yeah, okay, that's true. I must admit, I've already been involved in that with. I had a match with Adira. That's an introduction to the ass whooping side of the business.
She's a tough bitch. Let's be honest.
She is tough. I mean, when she hit me with, I think it's I can't remember if it was the forearm or the bit where she stomped on my face, but it felt like my whole jaw had like moved over here, and it felt like it hadn't come back. If you know what I mean.
You know, my last show of LEP last year, I'll tell you a story, man. Like a 20-man battle royal. It's like a Royal Rumble. You know, everyone coming in every 2 minutes. I'm wrestling, and it's down to me, Grayson Reeves, and the 7-foot monster Krieger. Man, I'll come running in the corner, smash both of them. Bang, one forearm, flying forearm to the 7-footer. Wham, one flying forearm to Reeves. Reeves reverses, goes running out to give Krieger the flying forearm. Krieger boots him clean in the face, man. I swear to God, he nearly took his nose off the side of his head. I come running towards Krieger. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. This guy just smashes me so hard with a forearm. I swear to God, I literally thought my face was upside down. I'm lying on the floor, trying to get my breath back, seeing stars. He comes over with his big size 12 and stamps right on my chest. Like, the air left me so fast. Like, honestly, you needed to be blown up like a balloon after that, man. I was laying there thinking, like, I don't want to win no more. I don't want to do this no more. You know what we do, man, is there's some tough cookies. You know, it was brutal.
Yeah, exactly. so that's the one thing you are guaranteed. But yeah, one last bit of news, I think, before we start to wind the show off, is that obviously Shinsuke Nakamura, it's been confirmed he is signing for WWE. There was one other thing that he was signed to do, and that was going to be the Ring of Honor 14th anniversary show from Vegas. However, that's not going to be happening anymore. Shinsuke Nakamura is not going to be on the Ring of Honor 14th anniversary show anymore because of his WWE commitments. Instead, though, you will be getting the Bullet Club member and current leader, Kenny Omega, instead.
Hey, he's pretty good, isn't he?
When you talk about good, and when you talk about, if you want to talk about good professional wrestlers, you want to talk about Kenny Omega in there. He has entertainment down, and he's crazy as well. His current thing at the moment is like the phase he's going through. He looks legitimately nuts in some of his promo shots. It's ridiculous.
Unless I'm mistaken, man, I watched Kenny Omega for the first time just the other day. I felt like I'm missing out not seeing him for longer. He's very, very good, isn't he?
Yes. It's when you see Kenny Omega wrestle, it's absolutely no doubt in my mind. It's like who else would they have got to like lead the Bullet Club after AJ Styles left? It's like, well, Kenny Omega seemed like it's just the obvious choice.
I mean, you've got AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Kenny Omega. These guys, like, Austin Aries is signed with NXT now as well. Don't forget.
Yes.
I mean, the level of talent is just absolutely astonishing, isn't it? It's astonishing, man. Some of these guys they're so good. I mean, you've kind of got to be 9 out of 10 or more. Like as close to perfect as you can be. I mean, the level some of these guys wrestle at is insane.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's just the thing, isn't it? It's as close to perfect as you're gonna get. Like the style that they wrestle is incredibly hard to pull off. I know for a fact. I try. You know the springboard moves that you can do.
Yeah.
Well, I had a bit of spare time on my hands at LEP. Tried to do a springboard, and I learned how difficult it was. My shins made contact with the top rope, scraped a fair bit of skin off them. Feet catch the top rope, and I basically end up flat on my ass, wondering what the hell happens. So every time you see a guy do a springboard, trust me, it's really hard.
It ain't easy.
No. I need to lose a fair bit more body mass and before I have the agility for a springboard. I must admit, I was like, I was just like, that's just like, let's just give it a go and see if I can. Nope, not yet. That's what I found out. Not yet. But yeah, it's the point though. It's like when you get to, yeah, it's. I mean, it's just. I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. I mean, but you have to be prepared to put in a lot of work before you get to their level.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have been doing this 15 years, 18 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a long time, man. It's like half your adult life, just trying to own this craft and perfect it all around the world. And they're getting their just desserts now. It takes 15 years, 18 years, but I'm sure it's worth it. Chance to be at WrestleMania, chance to wrestle the best in the world, the biggest stars in the world, one of the biggest crowds in the world. That's 15 years well spent if you finally get there.
Absolutely, man. And like by the time they get there as well, they've already got. When you wrestle for that amount of time on the indies, you just have a name for yourself anyway. So that when you finally get to the WWE, there's going to be, I'd say, like a natural amount of buzz about your debut, just because of the amount of work you've done in the indies. Like look at the crowd when AJ Styles finally debuted at the Royal Rumble. Listen to that crowd, man, and that's because of the reputation he's built up throughout the years.
They were hot. Yeah, they wanted it.
Absolutely. I mean, I admit to embarrassingly losing my shit when I saw it happen.
You do have an AJ Styles t-shirt, to be fair.
Yes, I do. I also have gloves signed by himself. Yeah. My profile picture has, for the last 8 months, has been the picture of me with AJ Styles. So, yeah.
AJ Styles doesn't know how lucky he is.
Absolutely. I mean, he got to meet somebody like me,
He got to meet the Chunster.
Hell yeah. He, yeah. And I tell you what, I've just noticed, because this is the great thing about like talking live, like you don't realize just how long like you've been going live. I did not realize this. We've been going for almost 2 hours.
Man, we're just chatting as well, like just shooting the breeze and just chilling, aren't we? We could do this we could just talk wrestling, man, forever.
That's the thing, man. I could chat wrestling with you for the rest of my life and I'd be happy. That's the thing. But we probably do have to start wrapping up.
There, you're the boss.
No, I think we do. I normally like to try and keep these episodes to an hour long, because the thing you find is, like, I don't know if you find this, like, I try and watch things on YouTube, like, and with the best one in the world, like, once it gets to like 2 hours, beyond that point it's kind of hard to keep that commitment up. So I'm going to keep this within 2 hours, because that's normally like the limit that people stick to. Most movies end within 2 hours. So, but yeah, this has been a huge amount of fun again, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have you again, Jason. It really has.
Yeah, man, I love coming on. We're good pals, aren't we? So for us, it's just fun having a platform to discuss what we love and to just give a bit of insight to what we do and share our opinions, man. I enjoy it every time. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It's like that's the thing. Like me and Jason will say a lot of things to each other, like as a joke and as a laugh. And the thing is, we both train together and everything. We are, yeah. There's so much to be said. Like Jason's probably one of my first friends in the business, So it's great fun.
Yeah, man. But we just have fun. That's what this is about. It's fun.
Yeah. So to wrap up the show, I mean, I hope you enjoyed it. We have had our Q&A with Jason King. We had some fan submitted questions for Jason King. And I'll tell you what as well. I think we're going to continue this trend. Like whenever I announce a guest, like let's continue this trend of actually having fan questions for this person. I think that's a good idea to keep going with that. Add some life to the show, like outside of everything. I think it's quite good. So we're going to keep doing that. I think I like that. We're going to keep doing that. Like, going to keep asking questions. And now I suppose you're going to want to know where you can submit your questions to. Good question. I can't hear you asking because I've got headphones on and you're probably outside of my house. If you want to ask questions, you can do so at Glen Chun, the like page that's on Facebook, with links in the description if you're watching this after the event. If you're watching on catch up, there will be links in the description for that. That would be Glen Chun, the like page. Or if you're not into Facebook, perhaps you prefer the Twitter. Yes, Twitter is the other place you can find me at Glen_Chun. I always announce the podcast. Like today, we did a 15-minute warning, for instance, for the show on Twitter. So if you want to find out about me and Wrestlecast, they are your two places to head to. It's Facebook and Twitter. And again, Jason, one more time, where can they find you?
You can find me on my page exclusively on Facebook, Jason King. It's the one of me where I'm wearing my Elite t-shirt, my wonderful, wonderful orange wrestling trunks. They got a lot of feedback. That's where you'll find me, guys. All my stuff is exclusive to that page. All my wrestling fans and people that want to book me and things, it all goes through that page. So look up on Facebook, Jason King.
That is the place where you'll find him. And again, links are going to be in the description. Links to the chain schools, links to CPW, links to PWA, links to DWA, everything, links to us. They'll all be in there. For now, though, like I say, Jason, it's been hellishly good fun having you back. They should probably it should be illegal to have this much fun, I think. The government should probably put a tax on that amount of fun. They'd make a lot of money. But for now, and to everybody who's watched this, everybody who is watching this now live, everybody who was watching earlier, and everybody who will watch in the future, thank you very much for watching. It means a lot for you guys to keep tuning into the show every week. I hope you continue to tune into the show every week. I will be announcing another guest very soon on those like pages. See what I'm doing? I'm giving you a reason to go and follow me so that you can find out who's going to be on. I can promise. Yes. I can also promise you I will never, ever, ever, ever disappoint you with the quality of my guests. They'll never be bad.
Apart from Grayson Reeves.
Okay. A bit of that's my bad. That's on me. But yes, yes. So thank you again for watching. I hope you all stay safe for the next week, and I hope to see you again next week for the next Wrestlecast, episode 5. for now, from me and from Jason. Actually, you know what, Jason?
What's that?
You know what they should do, right? They know what they should do on YouTube, right? Because there's a like button. What should they do?
They should like the page.
The quote. You know that thing that you do.
Ah, why didn't you say? You know, this is something you need to add because PJ did the winner thing at the end of his. We should all do something that every time we come on the show. We should finish with a decent line. So mine is this. Make sure, guys, that you like it. Like it, son! Like it.
Oh, yes!
Yes! Not a problem.